Look at the kicks. Look at the kicks. Look at the kicks. Look at the kicks.
Welcome to the sneaker closet where we talk the flyest kicks. Find out when they're about to drop and find out what the value is. Matt and Johnny going in, make sure you're tuning in. Every week they talking sneaks, a new pair that I gotta get. Welcome to the sneaker closet where we talk the flyest kicks. Find out when they're about to drop and find out what the value is. Matt and Johnny going in, make sure you're tuning in. Every week they talking sneaks, a new pair that I gotta get.
Welcome back to the closet. I'm your host, Matt Roach, here with my trusty co-host, my man, JP, Johnny Pena. What up, brother?
What it do, my people? Nothing much, just hanging out, looking at all the snow build up outside. It's crazy. If you live in the Northeast, man.
Stupid amounts of snow.
Yeah, if you live in the Northeast, man, forget about it. It's one of those things where it's just you either go outside and have fun or you stay inside. I'm at the age now where I'm just like, I'll just stay inside. I'm Gucci.
I got some. Today we went all out. When you have kids, you have every excuse to just be a giant child. So we had ice cream Sunday afternoon. We're having that nacho dinner. And I make a mean homemade nacho.
Nacho dinner. That sounds about good.
I mean, it's gonna hurt. I mean, you're gonna hurt when you're done with it. There is like protein on protein on protein on protein. Whew. It's layered. It's serious. There's not a chip that's uncovered. You're not gonna find an empty chip.
My man's about to go straight to the bathroom. My goodness.
Nah, it's not that bad when you're actually eating like decent stuff. It's like when you go to Taco Bell, you don't know what you're getting. There's a difference.
That's true. That is also true.
Who knows what they're putting? Actually, I've heard Taco Bell is actually one of the healthier like fast food joints if you're gonna eat at one.
Which one?
Taco Bell.
I
don't know. And it's also one of the cleanlier ones too.
One of their employees actually posted a video a while back with a majority of their meat like frozen in packets, and they had to put it in like boiling water and
that's nasty.
And all that stuff. Yeah, I was just like, okay, I guess.
Oh well, I guess maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I don't even know. But yeah, so I'm just chilling inside. Me and the little guy, we played a little of that new Pokemon game.
I heard it's supposed to be a banger.
It's completely different than my entire childhood.
Oh no, that's a fact. That
like it's not even like remotely. It's like Pokemon didn't even exist. It's a weird world. It's like OG. It's like a prequel. It's like a Pokemon prequel.
Now you're just in third person and you're like walking around throwing Pokeballs at people, and the Pokemon is ready to fight you, and you got to hurry up and throw your Pokemon out that's going to defeat that one. I think it's pretty dope. I find
they're like getting fisticuffs. They're getting after you. I got beat up in like under like 5 minutes. Little guy not only wasted all the Pokeballs, he drowned, and he got like attacked by a Pokemon. I'm like, what is happening right now? This used to be like a G game. Now it's like Alpha Blood. It's like Call of Duty meets Pokemon. Man, it is serious. But no, it's a good game. It's well done. It's well done. So we had some fun with that because we've got nothing else to do in the East Coast. But we do got some sneakers to talk about, so I'm pretty excited. I'm glad that we're getting closer and closer to All-Star Weekend, and with a possible All-Star Weekend return of, well, I'll say a pretty big classic from 10 years ago is the LeBron 9 Big Bang. What are your thoughts that this is coming back 10 years later?
I mean, resale wise, for all the resellers out there, I know it's about to be another out for blood because a lot of people, stocks are dropping, man. Just like the stock market, stocks and shoes, they're dropping with all these re-releases. And I mean, obviously the originals, they're not going to have the same material, but when you look at it from not a rebrand perspective, but just a re-release perspective, the material is going to be a little bit different. You're not going to have the same color. The original pair obviously has been sitting if you haven't been wearing it. So, that color actually dies out little by little over the years.
Well, the other thing with this, so that collection was like iconic. Everybody loved that collection. I had the Kobe 7, the KD 4, and then, the foams, the Galaxy foams, they're, iconic. So that collection back in 2012 was heat. So for me, I'm excited about these, but from what I've heard, they're going to retail at 240. Now, that shoes are creeping higher and higher, and as it starts to get normal, for a minute we've had the, we've had 220, 225 with the Jordan 11s. We've seen, they're starting to creep up, but now once they're hitting 240 for a just a general release, not a shock drop, not this is going to be this is probably going to be a Foot Locker's 240. If that happens, to me that's aggressive. And I think they were expensive when they originally came out. I believe they were, almost 200 back then. They were expensive. But 240s, we're starting to get to this new normal where they're going to 2.5 for a pair of shoes. And I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, when you look at it from a global perspective, right, you're looking at it from not only the consumer side, but you're also looking at it as the producer side, is what I would like to call it. You're looking at everything that has happened in the past 2 years, right? And last episode we talked about, they're finally coming out on the releases that they missed because of the supply chain issues that are still among us, honestly. But when you look at it,
They're going to happen for at least another 24, 36 months. That's going to happen.
Hands down. I mean, when you look at it from a bigger picture, a lot of these shoes that should be retail are being bumped up. Like, I don't see that being almost a $250 shoe. I see that being like a 190, 200 tops.
Now, I think there's two things. I'm not sure that even though this was slowed up, I don't know when this was slowed. I'm assuming they wanted to do it on the 10-year anniversary. That makes sense to me. But I don't think they would kick up the cost because they took a while to get here. So my thought is if they come out at that 240 release, my thought is they actually planned that all along. And that's where it gets a little bit concerning because at what point are we going to be like, this is a high price for a general release shoe that's not high fashion?
I think we're already at that point where we're saying it's a high price, but we still cop it because we love the culture and we love what the shoe represents. A lot of people that have been in the game for a minute, they're at a point where they're saying $220 for a shoe, why not? Other people are saying $220 for a shoe, I can easily flip this for $300. Now, if you have 100 pairs of these and you're able to cop 100 pairs of these and you sell it for, say, max $50 a piece above retail, like,
yeah, you're making some good money. Yeah,
you're making some good money. Yeah. Like, even if you have one pair and you flip it because it's not your steez, it's a come up. You know what I mean? Everybody's looking for a come up. Everybody's looking for quick change.
So
and this shoe itself is quick change.
But I have the reverse for you. So now, since everybody knows that this is going to be a flip, for a lot of people, not everybody, like if I got these personally, I would keep them. I actually like this shoe. But do you think Nike's like, hey, we're handing over a lot of paper. Why are we giving it away for free? Let's up retail. Like, if the resale wasn't so aggressive, do you think they would have the same pricing, or would they stay at like a 190 price point?
I mean, when you look at it, Nike doesn't care, and I mean that wholeheartedly. Like I said last episode,
they care about everything, though. I mean, they care because it's money. They care about money.
They care about money, so why do you think that they wouldn't up the charge?
They because they don't want to let the consumer take the money. That's what I mean. Like, if this was going to be originally a 190 shoe, and they're like, all right, these people are making $2 off of it profit, let's throw an extra $50 on top and make that $50. Because you can't tell me that this one is any different than the South Beach, and that was only 200. Because if you're just looking, that's a 20% hike. That's a big jump.
No, that's a fact.
So if you're looking straight shoe over shoe, I don't think this shoe is that much more popular than South Beach. It's to each his own. It's perspective, whatever you think you like. Because to some, the Grinch Kobe may not be their favorite Kobe, and I understand that. It's everybody has their own favorite. It's just personal preference. But that's an extra $40 over, in my mind, a fairly iconic shoe. So to me, that's a big jump.
When you look at Nike as a brand, as a team, as a family, year after year, they have changed in so many ways, whether it's marketing, whether it's the type of shoes that they're releasing, whether it's the collaborations that they let actually happen. This goes back way back when Travis Scott did the Travis Scott ones. Like, we both agreed that Nike is really, really picky when it comes to creating something. That backwoods swoosh was the
Yeah.
first of its kind, will be the only of its kind. Obviously, you have customizers that will do something with them, but when you look at it, Nike's making money year after year. Their growth and their potential in the next coming years is just out of this world. So I don't think that they really care about people. Like, when I say don't care, Nike doesn't care about people's complaints. They really don't. Like,
No.
whether you get your package or not, like I stated last episode, whether you get your package or not, your shoe or not, you're still gonna shop something Nike. You're still gonna have that check mark on. You know what I mean? So, shameless plug, Matt is wearing a Nike shirt, and it it's just Nike has their branding everywhere. They have their hand in each pot. Like, I consider Nike the puppet master of all branding and marketing right now.
Yeah, no, so I agree with that. My thought was they were just trying to take that extra money out of their pockets. And, I sometimes, nerd out on the backside of the business model. And I think a lot of people think that the new CEO that came in is going a little too aggressive trying to make Wall Street happy. That he's only looking at it in dollars and cents and nothing else. And Nike was always known for the creatives. They did a lot of things. They did a lot of things right. They always put a lot of value in creatives, the marketing, all of these pieces that this guy is getting rid of. He's kind of forcing out the mom and pops, the the little shops. He's even like bulldozing those on numbers in terms of selling more through Nike. I get that from a business sense, but it feels like it's a cultural shift. So, and also, I mean, you're right in terms of collabs. I think Travis personally is probably done for at Nike. I think they're probably sunsetting that partnership because Nike is extremely cautious, and I don't think they want to get within 10 feet of Travis. I think I think everything that happened at the concert, Nike wants nothing to do with, and rightfully so. From a company perspective, they don't. Why spin? Because Travis Scott is no more special than any other. They can have any performer they want. It's not like Nike can't throw money at anybody. So for them, they don't care.
I mean,
There's
when it
just
comes when it comes down to it, Nike's playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. That's what it comes down to. The nitty gritty. Nike is always one step ahead, and I totally agree that Nike is very cautious on who they let partnership with them, and the type of baggage that they come with. Right. So, Travis Scott in the beginning, he didn't have a lot of baggage. Just the tabloids and paparazzi and stuff like that. But then, totally agree. After that concert, there was a uproar and a lot of things that he couldn't touch anymore. So, do I think personally that we will ever see the Air Maxes release? Maybe, maybe not.
I think so. I think they'll come out, and I think that'll be the last. I
The
think
last
that
collaboration.
Yeah, I think if they've
Yeah.
already made it, they'll probably release it once the waves go down,
Right.
because they're not going to just throw that money away, and they probably already paid Travis, even though there's probably some clause they can get out of it. They have an army of lawyers. Um, but I mean, if we're talking about bags, let's talk about the final collab that we got with Louis Vuitton and Virgil, and that dope auction they're having at Sotheby's right now, and that custom like one of one Louis bag with the Nike. It is dope, and clearly by the price tags that these things are going for, people are loving them. So he had put together some Air Force Ones, and very, very small volume. I think there's there's 4 or 5 sizes that there's only one of one. So what I read was it's the 5, 5.5, 16, 17, and 18 They're only producing one pair per size. The size 11 right now, or as of like maybe a day or two ago, was at $90K. And it wouldn't surprise me if that just keeps going up. It's still got a week and a half left. It goes till February 8th. That to me, while I know it's not revolutionary, it's clean. And there's some little details about those shoes that I just absolutely love. And the first thing I want to talk about is where each piece combines from the swoosh all the way down to the back of the shoe, the front of the shoe. They have each piece outlined with the leather they use on the handles of all their bags. And that leather I love, and clearly everybody who listens knows that I'm a leather guy. You know, I do leather work and I value the little intricacies. And this leather is nice leather it's gonna patina beautifully. And I think the Virgil knew this, and the places that he strategically put them, it's not gonna look dirty. It's gonna have this really cool aged look to them. And he put the light colored, like the white leather, at like the right places. It works. Like he's got the cream laces, and to me personally, that touch alone would make me want those shoes if I could get them. I mean, granted, I do not have $90,000, but that in 10 years is going to look extremely cool. Because if you look at anybody who's got a Louis, yeah, I know some people, they look gross, but a lot of like times they look really cool when they age, those handles. Like as long as you're not like literally beating the crap out of them, those handles look really cool. They have this like dark, rich look to them. And I think that's what's going to happen with these shoes. And that case is absolutely fuego. That case alone would sell for 20 grand on its own. It probably does, for all I know.
I mean, without a doubt, right? So when I heard about this, I thought one leaving. Let me backtrack. When we leave this earth, what we want is that we want to make a staple and a name for ourselves, and we want to leave a not necessarily a trademark, but we want to leave a stamp. And I think Virgil did that while he was here, and Virgil continues to do that even with his passing. May he rest in peace. I think with this collaboration itself, the dope part for me is actually the proceeds. Is benefiting his postmodern scholarship fund.
I
So
love that. I
I
think that is one of the coolest things, and it's all about black fashion. And I think that is so cool.
Yeah, so I think, with the videos resurfacing where he's like talking to college students and who's trying to get, in the fashion industry and things of that sort, where his mind at is completely different. I put them up there not because they're close friends, but I put them up there with Kanye because their mind is so wired different that nobody is touching their body of work. There's no one that I know currently that is doing what these two individuals have done. When it comes down to Virgil, I think everything he puts his hand on is going to sell without a doubt. Hands down, is going to sell. Resale value is always going to be there. But for this collaboration with Louis Vuitton, like we said, a couple minutes ago, is that Nike is they walk on eggshells on who they collaborate with. And I think for Nike as a company, this was one of those things where it meant not only a lot to them because they did a lot with Virgil, but it also meant a lot to Virgil's family and Virgil himself. So to see this appear, like nobody knew about this besides the people he was working with. Like this just came out of the woodwork, right? So I think, let alone the case itself, yes, will sell for some good money. So if you're looking to buy the shoes, go ahead and bid up because you'll make a decent profit just off the case alone and just keep the shoes. Because people that are in the handbag industry or suitcase that love suitcases from high fashion, they will rip that off of you real quick for a nice, good bone. Trust me. Trust and believe.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind too, so there's 2 points I also want to add. Is the first is that Louis Vuitton came from the suitcase game, like the luggage game. Like back in the 1800s, like Louis himself was like a luggage maker. and a bag maker. So that is why their stuff is so iconic. But the other thing I want people to know is that like so there's difference on that material that you see most of the the keep balls and all of the iconic brown Louis bag that everybody knows with the logos all over it, the monogram one. That's not actually leather. That is actually a canvas. And the thing that's crazy about that, and anybody who makes custom shoes can appreciate this, that is an extremely difficult material to make a toe cap out of. Because that is not something that's just going to mold how you like leather will. A canvas is going to have creases, it's going to have all these things, so you have to get it perfect. Like that is a difficult material to work with to get a nice curved toe cap. And it's not like you can also just like straight up sky. It's a lot harder to work with. It's not as forgiving either. So they made it flawless. And I wonder if so a lot of their bags, like the big like the travel luggage and the briefcases and stuff like that, a lot of that stuff is actually still handmade. And like people like they have a whole department that repairs and makes these things. Like the huge things, like the things that are 20, 30, 40 grand. They have like teams that make those and repair those. I wonder if this was the same thing, this bag, or if this just came out of their like mass produced line. The orange briefcase. Because they're very fanatical about the details on certain items. And I wonder if this is one of those things that Virgil himself oversaw, or it went through the same, because it looks like the details are there. So I wonder if that was something that he was like fanatical about.
I wouldn't doubt it. I think, it was something that he played a big role in. I think down from the shoes, he knew the bag was going to be really simple for him because it was something that is really simple. You put LV on everything and it's a Louis Vuitton bag. Literally, you put the stamp on there, it's a Louis Vuitton bag. Just like the shirt that you're wearing, you put a Nike check, it's a Nike shirt. You know what I mean? But when it
The
comes down
interesting
to
thing is
being,
he did use different materials though, which I think is interesting.
yeah, I think that's the creative mindset, and I think that's where he's wired and tapped different. And I think that's a really, really big creative part of what he plays, and what he played in different roles in companies. I think down from the shoes, I really like the shoe in general. I'm liking the fact that it wasn't a type of leather that they used for the sock liner. I think that was pretty dope. And down to the bag, the number one thing about the bag that really attracts me is it doesn't have the word bag in quotations in big font on the bag itself.
I was, the funny thing is, I was gonna point that out, but I wanted to see if you were gonna like point it out because I know that like we always talk about that, and this bag is unique in that they didn't use the canvas on the bag; they only used the canvas on the shoes, and that's going to be a very like supple leather on the case. But the other thing that's interesting is they did a very small monogram on the toe box, but you notice it's a larger monogram as it goes farther back. Like in the middle, it's larger, which I thought was interesting. So he actually did different sized monogram pieces. For the same leather, he actually picked different pieces of the same, like different sizes, which I thought was unique because usually you keep consistency.
Right.
But he actually switched it up, and in the middle is a larger piece of the monogram compared to the toe box. So I think that's really interesting. And I do like that he went for a it looks I thought it originally was a cotton lace, but it's not. I think I would have actually liked a cotton lace, like a really thick cotton lace, which this still could be. It's hard to tell from pictures. You can't always do it. If he did do like a very thick cotton lace, which it kind of looks like, I can't tell. I think that'd be a really cool way to tie it in.
Yeah.
And also he didn't do just write the word lace. He wrote lacette. I thought that was a little. He usually just put shoelace. He just put lacette.
It's a little different. It's a little different. It's always paying that attention to detail. So I saw that too, and I was like, okay, now we got something. Now we got a different a different word have you on a shoelace itself, because on air he puts air, on shoelace he'll put shoelace, and I think it was just different. The only takeaway that I would say about this shoe is when you look at, and this is completely different, but I'm trying to make a comparison of what I don't like about this shoe, and it's really hard not to like this shoe. And I'm not saying that I don't. I think this shoe is phenomenal, and the collaboration is you know top tier, hands down. The only thing I don't like, if you looked at the Jordan 5s, the Oregon Jordan 5s, with the
Mhm.
big Jordan logo on the back that's stitched up, on the tongue of these Air Force Ones, I don't like the Louis Vuitton stamp on there, on the tongue itself, just flapping on the side. I do, however, will say that you had to put something there, right? Just
Mhm.
because the tongue itself would have just been bland. And I think more times than not, when you look at, let's just say, a regular Air Force One, you have Nike Air on the tongue that's stitched in. I think for that, maybe you know turn it and put it right there on the tongue itself. But I think overall, this shoe is top tier. There's nothing at all wrong with it. Um, the night down to the Nike check to the toe box, I know that's one of their top selling bags of that type of not necessarily material, but that type of checkered pattern. Um, and that's yeah, that's a top seller and a most common bag. So I'm really trying to figure out whether he used bags to actually create this, which more than likely he probably did, which I think is pretty dope.
Well, no, their leather is like their stuff is mass produced. They have these massive machines
Mm.
that they get sheets that are probably 8 feet by 10 feet, and that's what they work off of. So a lot of their stuff, they get these and their machines. So their high fashion is notoriously secretive. Once in a while, you'll see like a thing here and there, but they have
Hmm.
these massive sheets that like the leather will go on, and they have these massive like thick brass stamps that come down, and they're these massive presses like clicker presses, and they come down and they emboss all the leather. And that one is probably like the canvas stuff is probably through like a heat transfer or something like that. I mean, there's probably a company that just does everything for them. um, but they're like notoriously secretive. Nobody knows how they do their things. I've only thing I've seen is one of their massive machines that they emboss the leather, and the sheets are like a full hide. They're enormous, so they're probably 20 square feet of leather, and they have somebody who probably just cuts off like and just squares it off and throws it in. It's insane. Um,
The another thing that I wanted to throw out there is my, I wouldn't say assumption, but my number one thing that I can think of off the top of my head is that we're not done seeing Virgil's hand in things that are due to come out. Because you have to think about it, and we've talked about it a lot, is that a lot of things have been planned a while ago. A lot of things have been put into production a while ago, and I
Well, did
think
you see that video of all his stuff that wasn't released yet?
exactly,
There
exactly
was
what
it
I
was like
was. Yep.
a I'll have to send it to you if I didn't. It was I can't remember if it was like TikTok or Twitter or Instagram. At this point they all blend together.
Hmm.
But it was cool. It was all the stuff that was supposedly unreleased for him. And it was like 40 shoes.
Yeah, my
It was
man just he has it on lock. He for his
they
family,
there
for his kids.
there's definitely something with his he was definitely feeling some sort of skate vibe because it feels like there was one line that was like old school for anybody who used to skate like Osiris, like DC Osiris, like they had that like that bulk to it that like I remember from back in the day, and it definitely had some retro vibes. So I'm hoping, well, I know it'll all come out because at this point it's, I hate to say it, but when somebody passes, their stuff becomes extremely valuable. So, these companies are not going to leave that on the table. Um, so this collab's dope. If you're rich and you're listening to this, first of all, donate some money to us and then go bid on these. And then and just send us some shoes. We'll take shoes, but there's also some other stuff that we definitely want to talk about, and that is the Cardinal Jordan 3s. I personally, I'm always going to be a 3 fan, but these ones I'm really feeling. I think these are, I like they're doing a full family size run. They're going to be released on the 24th via sneakers and some retailers, which means maybe Finish Line and East Bay and like Foot Locker will get a little bit. It's sitting at that 200, so it seems like the 190 price point is kind of thrown out the window at this point. I don't even know what we're doing anymore with that 190. Is that kind of like dead now? Is 200 just like the?
I want to say that the 190 is not dead yet. The 190 is definitely not dead yet. But
I
I
guess
will
maybe they're
say,
still doing like some like maybe Jordan 9s and 8s and some other stuff, but
I
for
will
any of the big
say,
ones,
I will
I
say
haven't.
that in the coming years, the price point is going to disgustingly go up.
Yeah, 240. I mean,
When they had 190, I think that was testing waters. I think the 190 was like, let's play with this a little bit, see if people continue to bite, see if our numbers stay the same or increase. With Nike's year and year return, their increases just continue to grow, right? So I think they played with 190, and yes, I think they're gonna move on to the 220 price point. But my mindset is like, how do you go from 190 to 220? Let's
that's a
test
jump.
waters and have fun with 200 first before we say 220.
I hate to say it, but at a certain point, you're going to price out the everyday consumer.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
I
yeah.
think for a lot of people, they've already been priced out. But I think as you keep going up, for a lot of men out there, it's going to be hard to describe that to your wife. 190, you can still sort of say, oh, it's just a pair of running shoes. 240, what are you running the marathon? Like, come on, man. Like, you're not a professional. Buy something a little cheaper. Go buy some Sauconys. No dig at Sauconys. They're a very good shoe. I love Sauconys. But you're going to start to hit this price point where people can't buy as many shoes. I don't know what threshold that's going to be, but even the people who make a good living, you're going to start pushing it when you hit 240, 250. I don't buy a ton of 225 usually.
I don't buy 225 at all. No, I'm joking.
So,
I mean,
well, you
it's
bought
really
Yeezys.
selective.
Yeezys
Yeah,
have been at 220 for a minute.
yeah, but it's yay. Come on, it's just
Yeah. Well, he
yeah,
wants back with Jordan, so but
yeah.
I don't even know where to go with that. I mean,
Let's
that's
go. Let's save that for another time. But yes, Jordan's son is trying to get a collaboration with Kanye and Jordan, and I think that's gonna be
talk about the golden spoon. The guy who brings nothing. He's just like, all right, my dad's a big deal. You're a big deal. Let's just all pretend like we're friends. Like, come on, Marcus. You live the absolute dream.
best life
Like,
ever.
I mean, come on. Talk about doing absolutely nothing. That man could open up a store, and of course, people are going to flock to it. Your dad is Michael Jordan.
Well, I
Like,
mean, when the trophy rooms came out, that was huge.
but he definitely must walk around with like a swagger to him, like, yeah, look at me, look at me. It's like, I, he's done nothing. Like, I, he kills me.
I
He's
think
just
when
got
it
such a swag to him that just kills me. The most undeserved swag of all time
no,
is
that's a
Marcus
fact.
Jordan.
I think when it comes down to it, I'm ready to see that collaboration. But going to these
100%.
going to these Cardinals, what would you say that is a number one thing that you would change on that shoe?
It's something about the elephant print near the laces. I don't know why, but I feel like I don't want that elephant print there, and I would have rather that be white leather. And I don't think on the original mock-ups that was elephant print up top. I believe it was a solid white leather shoe through and through, and just the elephant print at the toe box in the back. But I don't remember. I can't remember what the original leaks were. It's been so long we've been talking about these.
I mean, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't do all white, but these things right here are something different. and I think it's because of the glossy red on the
Yeah, it's
outsole.
crispy. It's
I think
crispy, right?
that's yeah, I think that's what's actually doing it for the shoe itself, honestly.
And the other thing I have to wonder is, do you think at anything, I wondered about this myself. Do you think subconsciously we like this colorway because we're from Boston and Boston College is big out here? Like I
More
don't
more,
I
more
wondered
times than
about that
not.
myself. I wonder about that myself. I'm like, oh, okay, because it's also like the Harvard color kind of too. So it's like, all right, like I see this color so much because I mean, for what it is, Boston is a college town. We have
Mhm.
more colleges than we know what to do with. So I see this colorway pretty much all day, every day. If your grad students or people you work with or your interns aren't from BC, they're probably from Harvard or they're from MIT. Like, but those two schools are huge, and that's also the same color as Northeastern, sort
Yep,
of.
that
I
is
mean,
true.
Northeastern's maybe a little bit lighter, but still, you see this color all day, every day. And it's
Mm.
also the same color as no BU's lighter. BU's a lighter red, but Boston is pretty much every school is just. I mean, they didn't get very creative. They're all like red colorways, except for MIT. So I always wonder if that's the reason why I like these. But yes, I am a huge fan of these. I am gonna go after these for a personal. Um, I guess that'd be the one thing that I would change is I don't love. I would have rather it be that all white personally, but Jordan threes to me are just one of the most comfortable shoes.
I will tell you this though, while we're on the Jordan 3. Now, this is due for a different episode, but I'm gonna just throw it out there real quick. Is that they have these Air Jordan 3s that they're calling the Kumquat. I think they might be, released in March maybe, but those are price point at 140 versus these being price point at 200. Now you have a different.
Wait, 140?
Yeah. So it may be grade school size that I might be looking at.
That's got to be grade school. I haven't seen an
Yeah.
adult shoe at 140 in a day. Sometimes they don't even you don't even notice the GS.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think of what those.
How many times have you bought something that didn't have that you were like, "Oh, let me go cop these right now," without looking at exactly what you copped. Not like the size, the size itself.
So many times. Oh my god! Don't even get me started. There's so many times that I bought the wrong. Well, even just recently, like I bought what did I buy. I bought the Jordans. I bought those in the wrong size. Like well, the problem is I buy for three people on one account, so my account has no idea what size I am. They don't know if I'm buying for me, my wife, or the little guy. So like I buy the wrong size all like so often. Like honestly, most of the stuff that I sell like online is mostly just because I bought the wrong size. So like for me, I'm trying to find these like ones you're talking about. I don't even see them.
Yeah, they're
I wonder
apparently
if they
grade
got.
they're apparently grade school, so
I mean, everything gets pushed nowadays, so it's not like it's. I was. It's funny. I was actually talking to Pete over at good old shop AWOL, for anybody who's in the city, make sure you go and check out at our guys at AWOL. I was talking about it and I was like, dude, how do you keep up with like all these dates? He's like, dude, you can't. He's like, I just look at the invoices to keep track of. He's like, I know it's coming once they like charge me for it. He's like, you can't like it's true though, but like I was like, I can't keep up. I was like, I have no idea what's coming or going. He's like, honestly, he's like, it's not like they're not doing it on purpose.
well, the thing is that
There's nothing they
we
can do.
talked
They don't
about
know
it.
what's gonna. Yeah, he's like they don't know what they're gonna be able to get in and get out. Like it's not
Yeah.
like Nike. None of these companies are doing it on purpose. They just like honestly, I feel terrible for the marketing teams because they have to figure things out on a whim. They don't know when ships are gonna get here. They don't know what they're gonna be able to sell. They don't know what they're gonna have for the season. They don't know how to like make like art to give to like the footlock like all those the way that they want to market they have no idea
Right. Right.
so like
It's just
they
it's a lot. We talked about it before. It's just a lot of shoes that are being released some shoes that are being re-released. So that just adds more. Like, you imagine having a shoe re-release, and that's probably like what, 4 or 5 years after the first release, or maybe even 10. Who
Yeah,
knows? But it's just like, how many of these shoes are being created and how many are actually hitting people's feet versus what do you do with the rest that don't?
well, the problem is, I think it's just all logistics. Like, I I think they're just trying the best they can, and then they have to like make different schedules. So I think the whole thing is just like it's a nightmare. I feel
Oh
bad
yeah.
for operations and marketing because there's no way they have any idea what's going to make it to port and what's not. And the problem is what if it gets to one port and it doesn't get to others? They want to have like a unified release, so they don't want to just drop it in,
A small batch.
say they all get to Memphis, but they don't get to the West Coast.
Right.
Like, they're not just going to drop, and they're not going to ship them all from one coast to the other because that logistically is a nightmare for them. So it's like they probably have shoes at one hub that's not at the other hub, and they probably have it in one country that's not in other countries. So it's like they can't. I think just it's going to be a long couple of years for all these companies. Any large corporation is going to be a long few years.
I think it's gonna be a long few years for us with this whole sneaker game. But I think hopefully when Ollie gets to your shoe size, he's gonna be set for life. So I mean,
He
I
did.
feel bad for your shoes, but
Oh,
I feel great for him because he's gonna have some shoes, so he might tear them things up. You never know.
you kidding me? He's like sitting there going, all right, how do I get to be an 11 and a half real quick? Like, even if he's like a 10 and a half, that kid's just going to throw multiple socks on just to try to fit into those. He's not going to care. Like, he's
You
going to be like that only kid that's like, hey, Dad, can I borrow those Red Octobers to wear to school? Like, no. He's going to try to like flex to like impress a girl. Like, when you're like 14, it's like it's so important, like, to have the right shoes with those sweatpants. I'm like, dude, you're wearing $10 sweatpants. You're not wearing those things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's totally going to be like, I'm going to have to put like lock and key on those things because he's going to be.
Yo.
Oh, he's going to straight up he's going to have like a party and I'm going to come home and I'm going to see my whole shoe closet like completely gone and be like, yo, man, this.
What did you do? What did you do?
And I'll have no shame. I will go to every kid's house and be like, I'm going to tell your mother, give me my shoes. Like, it's like, Jeffrey, give me those shoes back. Marcus, go ask your daddy for more. Oh, Marcus Jordan.
My
Oh,
man's crazy, but
he's probably a great guy too. I bet you he's like the best guy to hang out with, but I feel
no
bad
problem.
for him. It's
I mean,
also probably like a curse too to be like gifted that kind of life.
oh yeah,
I feel bad because you can never make your own way, no matter what.
that's crazy. But one thing I did want to add is, those of you that are listening to this episode, we just ran a giveaway. I think it was, I mean, once this is posted, so basically, a
It
couple
ended
days
on the
ago.
28th. Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to Marshall. Marshall Kicks, big supporter of the podcast, man. We appreciate you. But his name was drawn. He got this nice little LeBron PSA 10 for the one
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can't fight a PSA 10 right there.
Oh
Whenever you get
no.
a PSA
Oh
10,
no.
that's always good.
Oh no. Oh yeah. So, check in on Monday of this week. We're gonna be running another giveaway. Who knows? It might be shoes, it might be another graded card. Who knows? We might surprise y'all. So
Johnny's always got something. You came at a note. So Johnny's like the Pokemon god now. Like, my guy, all he does, he goes, "What's Johnny got? Can we call John?" He asks like every day to call. He goes, "Yo, can we call Johnny real quick? See what Pokemon cards he's got." Like, let's call John. I'm like, no, we're not calling Johnny again. Like, that man does not want to talk Pokemon cards with a 6-year-old.
I mean, when you look at it, like, this is another thing that I wanted to bring up, and I won't talk too much about it, but the card game right now, I think we talked about it when I was over your house the other time we recorded, is that, the card game right now is crazy. I think you have some cards that are priced out more than your favorite pair of sneakers, which is by far ridiculous, right? So, and I think it all falls on PSA, to be honest with you, because that's one of the main brands that people want to go after. And it's just like Nike. Nike is one of those big brands that people will just want to wear. And if you think about it, if you have if a Air Jordan didn't have a Nike check on it and it had an Under Armour logo on it, you ain't buying that. I know for a fact you ain't buying that. You know what I mean? So I think it's just placement, who you really lean towards more, and authenticity and things of that sort. And PSA is one of those card companies where you're looking at probably, I think everybody in the sneaker community knows, like a base set Charizard is like almost 50 grand, 60 grand, almost 100,000. Who knows? But
You know, that's the
it's up
only one
there.
I don't have from the OG set.
It's crazy.
Johnny's,
Crazy.
I found all my stuff. Johnny's seen it. I even got some stuff we can't even find. We got that one card. We got to figure out what that is. I got
Yeah.
one card that we honestly have no idea what it is. It's good. It's like, if anybody listens and knows Pokemon cards, let me know. I got this Pocket Monster that I have no idea. It's clearly from '96. It's like before they were even Pokemon. They were called Pocket Monsters.
Well, the thing
So
is that so I'm glad that you said that, because Pocket Monsters is the original name in Japan, versus when it came over to the US, it turned into Pokemon instead of Pocket Monsters. And then you had old women saying, not old women, but just,
Karen,
everyday older people, those pocket monsters are the devil. Don't play with the pocket monsters. I'm like, lady, it's just a card. It's not gonna take my life away. It's not gonna make me go jump in a
what
body
are
of
these women you're
water.
hanging out with? Who are these women that are out there saying they're the
This
devil?
this was years ago, man. This was years ago, but you know, always
Oof.
happy to bless the community with giveaways, and they don't come cheap, man. So y'all better
Nope.
appreciate it while we here, while we giving y'all that new fire, that old fire, our thoughts, and as always, man, I appreciate everyone listening in, tuning in, hitting us up on a regular, glad to see us back, and wishing us well. And those of you that are on the East Coast, I hope that you all stay safe. Make sure you're stocked up. Don't go outside unless you truly have to. And this is probably a moment where you could just go ahead and create something on the stove, to be honest with you, at this point, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going outside for a lick. I'm just going outside to shovel every time it just piles up. But yeah, other than that, man, y'all can always find me on Twitter and Instagram at Johnny Sneaks, JohnnySneaks, and also at SNKR Closet on Twitter for our handle. And my boy Cardinal Matt, where we finding you, brother?
You can always find me at I am Matt Roach on Twitter and Instagram. I'm always on there. And again, yeah, Sneaker S. And then on Instagram, I don't even know, was it Sneaker Closet?
Should just be Sneaker Closet.
I think it wasn't available. I don't know what it was. There was something that it's hard to get out there. And the worst part is people just create things and they never use them.
Never,
I hate
never,
it. It drives me nuts.
never. But
So
you know
yeah,
what we are gonna use? As always, man, what's in your closet?
he's back. The man's back. Love it. Love it. Peace.
New pairs that I gotta get.
Welcome to the sneaker closet.
New pairs that I gotta get.
Welcome to the sneaker closet.
New pairs that I gotta get.
Welcome to the sneaker closet.
New pairs that I gotta get.
Welcome to the sneaker closet.